Have you ever found yourself waiting? Not just for a message, but for a sign that someone finally values you the way you value them? And when that message doesn't come, do you tell yourself they're busy? Or do you quietly feel that sinking truth you don't want to admit, that maybe you're the only one trying? Before we go further, if you've ever felt ignored, overthinking someone's silence, or giving more love than you received, hit the like button. Not for the video, but as a reminder that you're not the only one who's been there. And if you stay till the end, this might completely change how you experience love, relationships, and even your self-respect. Subscribe too, because what you're about to hear isn't motivation. It's a shift in mindset that can change your emotional life. Now listen carefully. There was a man named Arman. He wasn't weak. He wasn't broken. He wasn't someone who didn't understand love. In fact, he loved deeply. Too deeply. The kind of deep that feels beautiful at first, but slowly starts costing you your peace. Arman believed love meant effort, patience, understanding, sacrifice. So when someone came into his life, he gave attention, he gave time, he gave emotional energy, he gave forgiveness even before it was asked for. And at first, it felt like love, but slowly, something changed. The replies became slower, the energy became uneven, the excitement became confusion, and Arman, instead of stepping back, stepped forward even more because he believed a dangerous idea. If I love harder, they will finally see my value. But Marcus Aurelius, long before modern psychology ever existed, understood something Arman didn't. When you chase what doesn't choose you, you don't get love, you lose yourself. And this is where Arman's story becomes your story too, because let's be honest, have you ever been there? Have you ever checked your phone more times than you can count, hoping their name appears? Have you ever typed a message, deleted it, retyped it, trying not to look desperate? Have you ever told yourself, I won't text first this time, and then broken your own promise within hours? That feeling, that cycle, that quiet emotional dependence, that's not love, that's attachment disguised as love. And Arman didn't see it at first. He thought he was being loyal. He thought he was being understanding. He thought patience would eventually turn into reciprocity. But what actually happened was something else entirely. The more he chased, the less he was valued, not because he wasn't enough, but because he was always available. And availability without boundaries slowly teaches people that your presence is optional. One night changed everything. Arman was sitting alone, phone in his hand. Chat open, seen, no reply. Hours passed, then more hours, and in that silence, something inside him started speaking louder than his emotions. A question he had avoided for months. Why am I trying to be chosen by someone I have to convince to stay? And that question is where Marcus Aurelius begins to enter his life. Not as a quote, not as a philosophy, but as a realization. If it is not yours, do not cling to it. If it does not choose you, do not chase it. Arman didn't become strong instantly. Real change never happens instantly. It starts with discomfort. So he did something small. He didn't text. That was it. No dramatic ending, no emotional confrontation, just silence in return. And strangely, that silence felt different. Not painful. Not hopeful. Just clear. Because when you stop feeding confusion, clarity begins to appear. And Arman started seeing patterns he ignored before. He remembered how often he initiated conversations. He remembered how often he adjusted his time. He remembered how often he over-explained himself, just to avoid being misunderstood. And slowly, the truth became unavoidable. He wasn't in a mutual connection. He was in emotional pursuit, and that realization hurts. But it also frees you, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And now I want you to think for a moment. Don't scroll past this. Who are you chasing right now in your life? Be honest, is it mutual effort? Or are you the one constantly proving your value? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. When love becomes effort from only one side, it stops being love, it becomes emotional begging without words. Arman began to feel something he had never allowed himself to feel before, not sadness, not anger, but exhaustion. The kind of exhaustion that comes from giving too much to something that gives you too little. And in that exhaustion, something powerful happened. He started noticing his own absence in his own life. He was so focused on one person. He had stopped focusing on himself. His hobbies faded, his peace faded, his confidence depended on responses that were outside his control. And Marcus Aurelius would call this what it is: loss of inner sovereignty. Because when your emotions are controlled by someone else's behavior, you are no longer free. You are reactive. And Arman didn't want to live like that anymore. So he made a shift. Not emotional, not dramatic, but internal. He stopped checking instantly. He stopped replying instantly. He stopped making someone else the center of his emotional world, and at first, it felt uncomfortable. Because withdrawal always feels like loss before it feels like freedom. But slowly, something surprising happened. The anxiety reduced. The overthinking reduced. The constant need for validation reduced. And in its place, peace started returning. Now here's something important you need to hear clearly. This is not about becoming cold. This is not about ignoring people. This is not about playing games. This is about balance. Because love without self-respect becomes suffering. And Arman finally understood. If someone truly values you, you don't need to chase them. If someone is meant for you, you don't need to convince them. If someone respects your presence, you don't need to question your worth. And if they don't, then no amount of chasing will ever change that. It will only drain you. Days passed, then weeks, and something unexpected happened. The same person he was chasing noticed his distance, but by then, Arman was no longer in the same place emotionally. He wasn't waiting. He wasn't checking. He wasn't hoping. Because when you finally stop chasing people who don't choose you, you start noticing people who would never make you chase them in the first place, and that's the shift most people never reach, because it's not about losing someone, it's about finally finding yourself again. And now Arman understood what Marcus Aurelius meant all along. Choose yourself first, not out of ego but out of wisdom. Because the moment you stop chasing what doesn't choose you, you create space for what never needed convincing to begin with. And maybe right now, this is your moment too, not to chase less, but to value yourself more, not to beg for love, but to recognize where love actually exists. Because the truth is simple. If it cost your peace, it is too expensive, and you were never meant to beg for what should have been mutual. So stop chasing, start choosing yourself, and watch how everything in your life begins to rearrange itself around that decision. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.